I'm heading back to the desert, but this time I'm going alone. It had been a long, emotional week, the kind where everything felt loud and overwhelming, and I knew exactly what I needed. One quiet night on the Boy Scout trail in Joshua Tree. Just me, my pack, and the desert silence. Over the next 24 hours, I watched the light change across boulders, set up camp under a full moon, spotted wildlife along the trail, and fell asleep to a whole chorus of coyotes in the distance. There's something about carrying everything you need on your back and walking into the quiet that puts things into perspective. This was my solo night in the desert. So I just arrived at Indian Cove Campground in Joshua Tree National Park. Trailhead that I'm starting at today is the Boy Scout Trail. I am starting from here because there were more campsites available down this way, but also because I've never seen this side of the Boy Scout Trail. I just got to get my hair into hiking mode and get my stuff out of the back, and we're gonna get going. So Mark and I actually hiked this trail, I think it was 2023, and we backpacked. We did a night. This was pre-Shadow, and I really didn't want to leave Shadow alone this weekend, so Mark's staying back with him, but this time camping at campsite 3, which is about a mile and change from this trailhead, and it is entering obviously from the other side, so I haven't seen this side of the trail before, so I guess technically now I can say I've completed the Boy Scout Trail, which is cool, and I'm excited to see this side of it. I think there's like a little bit more in rock formations, more of this kind of scrub on this side, less actual Joshua trees, so we'll see how it is. The site is supposed to be tucked into a little rock outcropping, so hopefully I'll be nice and protected in there, and we'll have some good views for sunset and sunrise. Got to this little plateau after doing a little bit of uphill, and just look how beautiful it is here. I don't know who or why or how. Some people just don't like the desert, but I find it to be so magical. Here you can see we're coming up on site 1. All of the campsites here are labeled and have little trails that go off down towards them. We are number 3, so 2 more to go. Yeah, we're already here. So my site is going to be through here. Okay, the tent is set up. I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not I'm gonna put on my rainfly or not. It's so beautiful out right now, and it's not supposed to be windy tonight, so I'm thinking I might leave it off, which is something I actually have never done for a full night before. So we'll see how it goes. I might chicken out and I might get too scared, especially in the desert with the rain fly off. I feel like I start to see things and my mind plays tricks on me. So sometimes having the rain fly on, it's kind of like just like hiding under the covers. Yeah, it's actually like much hotter than I thought it was going to be. And right now I'm like just being blasted by the sun. So I think I might go find some shade and have a little snack and explore a little bit. The sun is starting to slip behind those hills, so before it gets too much later, I think sunset is in like an hour, I'm gonna make some dinner because I think it's gonna start to cool off and I'm gonna be wanting to crawl into my tent as soon as the sun goes down. So we are going to get that started. Tonight, I'm trying something really basic that I've never tried before, Mountain House macaroni and cheese. It just sounded cozy and yummy and easy. Not that it should be any more difficult than any other rehydrated meal, but it just felt like simple. I didn't want a whole lot of fluff or flavor or anything like that. I just wanted a super cozy meal. So we're gonna try this tonight. And I have a Snickers bar for dessert. That's about it. Perfect. Where does it say? 11 fluid ounces. So 4, 8, 12 is like right there at that line. We're gonna guesstimate here. So loud. Okay. Need to get my spork out. Let's see. It's 8 minutes. Boom. Hey Siri, set a timer for 8 minutes. 8 minutes starting now. Nice. So, one other piece of gear that I'm testing for the first time on this trip is this FlexTail Zero power bank. It is substantially lighter than the other power banks that I've been using, so that is a plus for me. This will charge everything from my phone, my watch. If I need to charge up my DJI selfie stick for some of my nighttime shots, I'll use this as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's super rugged. It has like a really nice rugged material. Don't have to feel precious with it, but it is so much lighter, and that's the thing I love the most, because I think for me, the thing that really gets my weight up in my backpack is all of my tech gear. So I'm trying to streamline it a lot more, and I think this piece of gear is going to be really helpful in doing so. Comes with also this little keychain, and it's great because it's super streamlined. You have your in and your out. You just pop this into your in out, and then I could plug this into my phone and we're back in business. So I'm going to use it tonight. We'll see how much power it uses with powering both my phone and my watch. I usually charge my watch overnight. At some point I will probably just take my get my phone up to 100% and then unplug it while I sleep. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this out and hopefully using it on all of my upcoming trips. Okay, last piece of new gear that I wanted to share. This is an instant heat pouch from Pre-Fire. Basically, it's a giant like hand warmer, you know, the little hot hands that you get. I usually bring hot hands on all of my backpacking trips because I think I run really cold. I'm really excited to actually use this tonight. I'm going to stick it into my sleeping bag. So we're going to try this. I actually brought 2 of them. They're pretty heavy, so I don't know if I'll take them on like any of my bigger backpacking trips, or maybe I'll just like bring one. We'll see how they work tonight. All right, let's see how we did. Ooh, whoa. That is very, very cheesy. Whoa. Do you see that? That is like, dare I say, too cheesy? Oh, but it's good though. It's like elevated Easy Mac. Yep. That was quite cheesy though. Like, you can't even see the noodles. Okay, it is only just now 5 o'clock, but the sun has really dipped back below these hills, and I am a baby and I'm already getting cold. It's crazy because when I showed up here, I was sweating and it was so hot, and I was worried that I overpacked layers. I'm hoping it doesn't get too cold. It said, I think last time I looked, it was going to be about 44. Maybe that changed though yesterday and it was going to be a little warmer. We'll see. I still have the rain fly off. We're going to see how that goes. No promises. I might get scared and put it back on at some point, but we'll see. I'm going to try to be a big girl and leave my rain fly off all night so I can enjoy the stars. But it seems like it would be the perfect night if there was ever a night to do it. There is no wind. There is not a cloud in the sky. There is a full moon, so it could be a little bright. But that doesn't usually bother me. The thing that makes me the most anxious is just like being able to see shapes and shadows and things like that, because my mind runs a little wild in the desert sometimes, especially when I'm by myself. I'm going to make some tea in a little bit and finish getting ready for bed, and then I think I'm just going to get into my tent once the sun goes down and maybe do a little reading or something. I brought my Kindle. That was my like luxury item that I brought for this trip, so I might read a little and then just call it a night. It's winding up to be a really beautiful day. I'm glad I just pulled the trigger and went for it. There was a part of me this morning when I woke up, which is why I was so late getting on the road, just thinking like, do I really want to go out and do this? And there was that part of me that reminded myself that like, once you get there, you're going to be so grateful. And I am. I'm really happy that I just pulled the trigger. It was hard to get moving. It's always harder when you're by yourself too. You don't have somebody else motivating you, but being out here has done wonders for my mental health already. I'm glad I pushed through all of that mental noise and negativity and just got in the car and came down here. And now I'm watching this gorgeous sunset in one of my favorite places in the world. I just can't wait to wake up and have coffee. So hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep and I won't be tossing and turning, so that will come sooner than later. I was just about to make some tea because the sun is getting very, very low, and then I looked up and this coyote was sprinting through my camp, and I can't believe I didn't capture it on this camera, but I got some footage on my phone. And then I kind of walked out into the scrub a little bit further, and I was looking around, and then all of a sudden these 5 coyotes came galloping past me, just trotting off into the rocks over that way, and I was just in absolute shock and awe. It was the most beautiful, majestic thing I've ever seen. It was so cool. But it distracted me from some of my other chores. I do need to show you the full moon because it is looking beautiful. So hold on one second before we get started on that. The sunset is just killing it, but the moon coming up right now is so pretty. I just love it here so much. I've got my little bed lights set up on my tent. We're gonna make a hot beverage and then get into the tent. Now they're howling. They're howling. Oh my god. Okay, I'm probably gonna sleep so terribly tonight knowing that they are running around here, even though I know they aren't gonna hurt me, but whoa. By the way, this is my 3rd coyote sighting in a week. There is a coyote that lives in our neighborhood in Hollywood. And then last Saturday, Mark and I were at Griffith Park and we were just throwing the ball of shadow, and I looked up and there was a coyote standing across the street. And now, today, I've got a whole pack. Hopefully, they don't keep me up all night. That has happened to me before. So, we'll see. So, it is about 8 o'clock. I'm just laying in my tent. I've been reading for the last hour. I actually did decide to use both of those pre-fire heating pad things, and I think they might be a game changer. I have one in the foot box of my sleeping bag right now, and then one just kind of at my midsection, and it is so cozy. It's beautiful outside. It's a little chilly, but it's really nice, and there's not a drop of wind, which is incredible. As you can see, the moon is very bright, and the one thing I do like about how bright it is that I can see everything. I am looking forward to waking up and watching the sunrise with a cup of coffee and then heading back home. Night. Good morning. I think it's about 6:30. Oh, sun is coming up, as you can see. Slept okay. I definitely had a few moments where I was woken by some coyote howls. They were definitely active last night, and had some
strange dreams too. But other than that, I slept okay. Definitely was up every so often, but I know I slept because I was having some crazy dreams. So I definitely got some sleep, and it was pretty comfortable, especially temperature-wise. But the sun is coming up, and my coffee is over there, and I need some coffee. Stat.
I found this little wash that takes me down to this nice little rock outcrop that is a little flatter than my Pride Rock back there. I know I said I was going to watch sunrise from Pride Rock, but I found this little spot right around the corner. So we're just going to go sit there. We're going to make some coffee, maybe make some breakfast, and just sit and enjoy the sunrise. Whoa. Coyotes are excited this morning. So before I finish up with all my packing and we head out, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about this trail because I think it's a really great trail for beginners or people who want to try solo backpacking for the first time. This is the Boy Scout trail that I am on. It is about 7.5, 8 miles long, point to point. One entry point is the Boy Scout trailhead from inside of Joshua Tree Park off of the main park boulevard. Park your car there, you enter from the Boy Scout trailhead. I did that the last time, and we hiked about 4.5 miles into campsite 6, which was this really cool campsite that was located just off of this like wash canyon that we kind of popped up into. And then it's like surrounded by all these really cool rock formations. This time around, I entered from the Indian Cove. From there, this campsite was about a mile and change, if that. So it only took me about 35 minutes, 40 minutes to hike up into this little nook here. So you could enter from either side. You can hike the whole thing. You can hike just a portion of it like I have done. You book everything through recreation.gov, and it makes it super easy. So if you are backpacking alone or you're new to backpacking, it really just kind of like gets everything set up logistically for you. So all you have to worry about at the end of the day is your hike in and enjoying yourself at your campsite. So Joshua Tree has different zones that you're allowed to backpack in. This particular zone is the Boy Scout Trail zone. And here you actually have designated campsites. So when you are getting your permit for this zone in Joshua Tree, you will actually book a designated campsite. There are, I think, 14 or 15 different sites along the entirety of the trail, and they're all pretty spread out. So you're not going to see your neighbors, you're not going to hear your neighbors, hopefully. And the nice thing about it is that the trail is really well marked, so your campsite is super easy to find. And you'll see that on the campsite markers themselves, they have a list of, everything you can and can't do. So you are only allowed to camp within 60 feet
of that sign, which is really nice if you're trying to figure out where you're allowed to go. You have to pack out everything that you pack in, and there are no fires. Also, you want to make sure here you are bringing enough water. You cannot filter water within the Joshua Tree National Park boundaries, and there's not really anywhere to do that anyways, so you want to make sure that you bring plenty of water. I think here on the Boy Scout Trail, you should be able to just pack in enough for the amount of time that you're staying. This trail, I would say I wouldn't spend more than a couple nights here. Myself, I've only ever spent one night here, so I've never actually had to cache water, but you are allowed to cache water. There are some rules and regulations about how you label your water caches and make sure that you pick up your water cache before you leave. One other thing that I think is maybe comforting for people who are new to backpacking or soloing is that town is not far away. You feel like you're in the backcountry, but you also know that you can bail and it won't be hard to bail. So for me, like last night, I'm only a mile away from the car. So if something were to happen, or if I realized I forgot something, or I just got scared and decided I didn't want to be here anymore, I could just get on the trail, head back to my car, and I'd be back in a half hour, you know. The trail's really well marked, so you don't have to worry about feeling like you're going to get lost. Joshua Tree can be a little disorienting because everything kind of looks the same, and the trail is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. If you live in Southern California, this is a great place. It's only a couple hours from maybe wherever you are, and it's really easy to get to. It's really easy to plan. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Okay, I'm back to the car after my quick one-nighter on the Boy Scout Trail. It was so much fun. The weather was absolutely perfect. I got to even see some really exciting wildlife. So if you haven't done this hike, I highly recommend it. And if you're new here, follow along because I have some more backpacking trips coming up this summer in the Sierra and beyond, and I'm excited to share those with you. Thanks.